So if you've been following this channel for a while, you know I love action, I love fantasy, and I love like good, clean, like just storytelling. So I thought today would be a great day. Let's talk about Headlobber by Andrew McLean. Great book from Image Comics, like just a great collection. But also, you know, like I said, Image puts out a lot of great books, great publisher. But sometimes it's fun to look at where it originally started from. Let's have some fun, y'all. Okay, Josh, what are we talking about here? We got this book, we got this book. What's going on? What's going on? So we got Headlopper by Andrew McLean. Um, I discovered this at Heroes Con. I forget what year this was. It had to be like 2014, maybe 13. But I remember coming across this cover and I'm like, that's a like I at least have to take a look. And open this up, I fell in love with this old man with this giant sword, Headlopper. His name is Norgal. Everyone just calls him Headlopper because he lops off head. It's one of those like, what does he do? He lops off heads. Um, but this was such a fun first issue, and I was so excited to get more of these, especially with the hook. Like, it's like what, this woman's head in a bag? Like, what is going on here? I have to get more. It was also fun seeing pinup designs by other people, and you can tell this is self-published because he did not know how to make a full bleed. He did with this one, but yeah. So, and the other cool thing is you get better signatures when you buy self-publish. And I come on here, I talk about my own fantasy, Bang the Ballad of the Tiger, Kung Fu um, inspired fantasy. So instead of a guy with a sword, one with a boot. But it's like to get to this, you need to start here. And it's like all great ideas always start off as a self-published. Like it's like the binding is not as great, but at the same time, it's cool to get to enjoy and see that. So let's take a look at this one. The Islands or a Plague of Beasts. So the only difference, oh, and I guess I should show this. So one great use of this chapter with the map, like starts off with an X. This one's a little brighter. Like they've definitely punched up the colors a bit. But I love all these quiet moments and then the big action. And especially with this creature that looks, all of his monster designs come off a little muppety, like almost like it feels like a puppet. And like not in a bad way. Like you said, the only difference is they kind of punched up the colors. So, and the other thing I love about this, no dialogue. Like he is a very competent artist where it's like he knows he can do something. Like he doesn't need to always show everything off. Like, all right, sorry, he can show, not tell. And it's like it's great moments like this, like chomp, like lump, and he goes in there and it looks all is lost. Also, I swear he's a fan of Mignola because like these quiet little panels. But yeah, just this like ploop. The use of color, especially I didn't know this at first, but like I do this with my comic as well. Eh. So if you kind of see, actually, let me find. This is a better example. So if you look at the, let's get that down there. If you look at the panel borders, they're not white. So what's brilliant is like his main character's white hair, so that pops, and the panel and the word balloons. You can tell this is a little older too, because he actually has like black around his word balloons. It doesn't last long, and he renders this stuff a lot more. It's crazy looking at his old style compared to like the end of this. Also, I love like this idea is brilliant. It's a witch's head in a bag, and they're like they're sometimes they work together. They're often at odds with each other. And like I said, he strong use of blacks, like great iconography. And like I said with this, each time the map like slowly moves. So what's brilliant about them is like sometimes they need to work together because they're both about to get killed. Oftentimes they try to work against each other. Like it's a really great dynamic. And it's interesting because he's rendering a lot more with these, which he like quickly drops. In some ways, I do miss this older style. It's also interesting too because he'll do like a lot of small inset panels, which is something like I don't do, but a lot of artists like don't do that anymore these days. Because it's like he almost feels like he'd rather draw like a bunch of little ones than like commit to one big one. But when he commits, he makes it worthwhile, and that feels like a Mignola. And here's the thing: I could go through, tell you exactly what this story's about. I kind of find that boring. I want you to read that. I want you to read it. And this is one of these comics. I don't mean this in a bad way. There's not a lot here, like story wise. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just like this is a fun, like action movie kind of popcorn kind of thing. It's not depth, but it's not trying to be. It's just trying to be like good, fun fantasy. And man, he does strong. He has such strong lettering, but iconography, especially the graphic choice with the lettering. Use of color too. I mean, like, look at that. Like, you want to make something look evil and ancient. Also, I love this panel because that is just such a shitty grin. Like I said, the witch's head is often at odds with him, and that panel kind of describes it perfectly. Yeah, him hunting the wolves. Like, and it's interesting because it's like these are some line marks, especially because he's using a deadline. And what I mean by that, yeah, let's pull out my comic once again. So I use more of a I use a livelier line. Come on, good example. Trying to find a clean kind of. Yeah, this works. So I have line weight to my stuff. Um, he doesn't. He has often a very. It's what's called a deadline or a flat line where it never changes. Like the width here is the same there. And like I said, he loves doing, which I think it works well for action. These small little ones to describe it, and some great action, especially this double page spread. Like, man, this worth the price of admission alone. The only thing like I said, I wish this was a better built book. I wish this was a hardcover. You can lay this down flat. 'Cause I want to look at this. And so much gets lost in the gutter. Like, and I love the use of, especially his use of blacks and colors, though. And you can kind of start to see it here. Like, he's definitely with those wolves are definitely like simpling down, paring down stuff, letting detail go. And I think it works better. Like, I think it's like it's quicker for him, a little bit more fun, and it's interesting what choices he can make. Like I said, it's School of Mignola, dragging in the wolf's head. So, and he's one of these guys. Like, this isn't an easy panel to do, and in some ways, like I don't know if he succeeded here because the problem is like you kind of want to bring people's eyes back up here. It's kind of easy to go here, but he loves those long panels, and truthfully, like this works well. I almost just think like having him speak and then having like more of her. I don't know. It's there's always like there's a thousand ways to do something, and sometimes sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Because yeah, like right here, and like I said, he keeps kind of pointing. It's like you want to point up and down. Like you kind of want to make this note motion. I'm alive. Hold her tongue. I don't know. Like I said, all of his creatures kind of have a Muppet look to them, and this, like I said, just brilliant. Also, especially like here, this feels very Zelda esque. Man flush. But just the creature designs, like it's inter- I don't know how to describe it. Like they're threatening, but at the same time, like you're never worried. Like you're never really worried about the character. It's just more like, well, how quickly can he lob off their heads? Each issue too has its own like strong color usage as well. And what's interesting too is like sometimes he plays it off for laughs. Like sometimes it's a quick like we don't need to go into it. But man, yeah, the bog, like any scene with the bog, I think he does so well. What's interesting though, like I said, the iconography starts to get more simple and cartoony. This one works well, and I will tell you why. Because you kind of have this up here, and then it's like the motion just goes straight down. It's easy to read. Like I said, he loves this page layout. In some ways, it's interesting to see that too with an artist. Like, a lot of people always be like, "Oh man, I love this writer, but I don't love him." Like, and it's like, well, sometimes it's the like. I think people underestimate like how much of the pacing's up to the artist. Because it's like you could have combined these into like, it's like this is one big panel, one panel, and then you got some smaller ones. And especially for him, like he does a lot of small panels. And of course, the second I say that, we can't find one. Ah, now here's the other question: does the reverse work of this? Not so well. It's kind of hard because naturally you want to do it's like I've done this enough times, like boom, boom, boom. You naturally want to do this. Nice, great use of silhouettes though. Like that is no question. Any, I don't know why. Anything with the witch always makes me happy. Yeah, you can't unsee it now. Like he loves. And okay, so why does this work? One, you kind of don't need like this. Kind of tells, but it's like since there's not a lot of word balloons, you automatically, and especially like the design, it's crazy too how many of these characters get introduced and then later on like come up again and again. But yeah, this is one. Uh, this is a series I want people to pick up and read. Like amazing fight sequences, great storytelling, great acting too. Especially in some ways, when you make like these characters a little bit more simple to read, you get like easier action or read like great double page spread. And he'll do a lot to set up like I also love too like this is almost we know we can cut off someone's head, so it's like we don't need to see it each time, but it's like the before and the after of the action, of the action is always works out well. It's also interesting, like I said, the use of color. Like I don't know why Blood always reads like a little bit more with him. But yeah, it's not like it's sword and sorcery at its best. It's crazy creatures, big action, and an old man with a bigger sword. And it's interesting, like I said, it's interesting too, going from like that deadline look here, and I think we're on like the fifth issue or something. But I mean, like, just look at the progression of the artist. Like, he's getting more and more confident. Especially like this look right here is always interesting because he drops out like almost all the details, but it still reads as him. And it's like I don't know if I'll ever be that brave, but it does work on a certain level. And the thing with Headlopper, like the situations always kind of get like more and more crazy. Like you have these giant creatures, like him getting captured, the witch talking to the skeleton, but like you're not ever. This is summer popcorn. This is you know what this is? This is renting an old like '80s sorcerer like fancy movie and not quite knowing where it goes. That's the best description. So kind of skip ahead. And like I said, there's this for $20 is a great value. I feel like this was like a part two that came later. Because I don't know, like the coloring seems a little like different. The art seems a little bit stronger, more simplistic. But man, like Headlopper's a lot of fun, y'all. Like if you don't have this book, I highly recommend it. Especially the over the top characters. And like I said, a huge fan of Mignola. And I believe there's like six of these out now. I don't know. He'll be at Heroes. I will definitely pick up the next one. I need to make a mental note. I love too, like seeing all the different characters, especially the size comparison. It's very interesting. I wish more people did this because I know Mike Mignola does this. actual like sketchbook stuff because it's like it's fun to see people's choices and how how they got there. Sometimes it's like, oh, this works, this doesn't work. And it's cool too to see some stuff where it's like, oh, okay, like maybe it's like maybe we would have saw this, maybe it kind of got abandoned. Pinup gal, I got mixed feelings with pinup galleries. I like them and I don't like them because in some ways, like I'm here to see the art of the artist, but it's cool to see other people's interpretations of this character, especially because a lot of them just fall into Alan Moore, Mignola. So yeah, these were Tony Cypress. These were in there. That is just straight up Alan Moore. And also, I'm kind of curious. So they had that. I didn't see that one. Saw that one. I saw that. So it's a different order. Interesting. Sorry, let's humor me a little bit because I'm wondering if that all white one should be easy to spot. Because yeah, that was in there. So I wonder what other art's like kind of missing. Interesting. The self-published covers. Yay. It's interesting too, where it's like self-published. He didn't want to put Headlopper on there. Then it's like, no, you need to throw him on there. And I think James Stocco, yeah, because it's like they have him and then like another artist. That is a badass one. I'm not gonna lie. Like the coloring on that. Whew. I have this one as well. I don't hate it, but it's not the same as Headlopper. Like there's a certain edge and humor to Headlopper that just works so well. Highly recommend this. But yeah, the two lessons I want from you, like, yeah, definitely pick up Headlopper. But if you're lucky enough to go to a con, like, go look around, see what's out there. Because, like I said, the joy of like self-publishing, and there's something that's kind of magical that, like, especially like when you figure out years later, where you're like, oh, this is the same series. Like, I just happened to buy these. But yeah, support artists and check out Headlopper. Thanks, y'all.